New products.
It's mega new.
New products.
There's a lot of new.
Okay.
Are we ready for all this new?
Yeah, we're gonna zoom through these.
There's a lot of new.
We have like 10 new products. This is gonna buckle up.
Kids.
Here we go. Okay. First up, it is the CC3000.
Said 33,000 C.
Yeah.
Blah.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, we normally come up with names like FLORA, Gemma, Trinket. We have really, NeoPixels, but we wanted just to make this one. It is what its name is. It's the C3, the seashells by the C store, the CC3000 Breakout board, and look at this great photo that John took. This is a nice photo. Okay, so you want to go to the overhead?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the light, see the lights a little better now.
Okay, great.
I'm trying to avoid having it be too glossy.
What is this thing and why?
So this is a Breakout for the CC3000 mod. And actually, I decapped one a while ago because I was trying to figure out like what the heck is in these things. This is actually what's in the module itself. So if you take that metal cap off, this is what's in there. And this is actually the CC3000 chip, the sort of large shiny thing. And there's also like a level shifter because it runs on 1.8, a voltage regulator, some parts that I can't identify, a couple passives, analog output for the antenna over here. So it's actually the chip itself that's called the CC3000. The chip itself is this guy, but the firmware has to be stored on EEPROM, and then you also need some voltage regulation and some analog output stuff. So it's actually kind of combined all in one, and they sell it on a module, which has these pads on the back, and it comes in a tin, and so the tin is what we solder onto this board. And to make it a little friendlier for people, we added a 3.3 volt regulator. It uses up to like 300 milliamps peak. That's only when it's in the actual process of transmitting or receiving. So that's only like a couple milliseconds, but you still need to be able to supply that current. So even though you can put it in sleep mode and it uses only like a milliamp or two, you'll want to have a good regulator. Also has a level shifter over here, so you can run it off of 3 volt or 5 volt logic. There's a little power LED which lights up, and then over here we have mounting holes to either side so you can attach it. There's a debug port, which is kind of not for anybody's use, but if you ever feel like trying to debug it, it's like 3 megabit per second speed serial. Like most serial converters can't read it, but if you get a special one, I guess you can see debug output. And then this little thing here is the antenna. We're using the same antenna and layout as the eval board, which is what TI puts in their app note. So this is FCC emitter certified. And so because we're using the same module, the same power, the same output system, and the same antenna, it doesn't invalidate the FCC certification for emitter. You still need to get your final product FCC certified, but the emitter part about this is taken care of. Sort of like if you're using a pre-certified module, it allows it to be pre-certified. And then if you're feeling lucky and you want to get a little bit more range out of this, it has extremely good range, by the way. But if you want more, you can move the little capacitor over and use the optional UFL connector, solder that on. And then you can use a large 2.4 gigahertz antenna. Or if you're feeling, like you want to really annoy some ham radio or FCC people, get a powered antenna, which you're not supposed to do, but you can anyways. Or you can just like make something with a Pringles can. Either way, I didn't tell you to do that, but people do it anyways. So that's the module. It's basically breadboarded and really easy to use. It's kind of the basics. It's the Breakout itself is not hard. This is actually really easy. This only took us one revision to do. It's the software that's actually really challenging because even though TI released host code, it's a challenge to port it. In fact, as far as I know, this is one of the only fully ported versions of the library. I've seen other people do a kind of a beginning of a port to the Parallax propeller and to the PIC, and I've seen other AVR/Arduino efforts, but none of them were complete. This one's complete, and I actually even fixed some bugs in the TI library, which...
Yeah, I know this was intense.
Which was really intense.
Someone in the chat came up with a funny name, Adafruit.11.
The Adafruit.11. Oh, yeah, so it supports Adafruit.11 BG, so that works with pretty much any router. It worked with all routers we tried except extreme huge one. And we're not
new
sure
one.
why exactly that wasn't being friendly. Maybe we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But it worked with every other router we tried. It supports WEP, WPA, WPA2. And we do have working code, although it's not super crazy tested, for the Smart Config, which is a system that allows you to use a laptop or a cell phone, like Apple, iPod, and or Android device, to set the SSID and password remotely. So it finds it using MDNS and sets that information in. So you don't have to worry about, like, if you're moving, you don't have to reprogram it for the new SSID.
Yeah.
You can set the SSID over a phone using like a secure, like it knows the name, and you have to be really close to it, and it can detect it, and that's another way of doing it. So it's kind of fun. Again, we have a working code. It can grab a web page. The only thing I don't have working is TCP server, and UDP client works, but I don't have an example for it.
All right. This will usher in this family of this chip for us and for all the other people and companies working with the chip. The Internet of Things stuff is actually here. This is the thing that everyone's been kind of waiting for.
It's cool because if you can actually do like SPI interfaced Wi-Fi, like we've been wanting to do a Wi-Fi thing for a really long time. People always ask, like, why don't you have a Wi-Fi product? And it's like, none of them were really good. Either you needed an NDA, or they didn't have a TCP/IP stack built in, so it's like you couldn't run it on an Uno, or it was UART, and so like the timing was really difficult. This one is SPI, so it has internal buffer, so you don't have to have a super fast processor. Like, you can run on Uno and you don't drop a byte.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about like special timing.
We had a lot of customers over the years say, hey, Adafruit, when are you going to come out with a Wi-Fi thing? Because I bought this, that, and the other thing, and it just doesn't work. I just couldn't get it working. Like, I don't, there's no code, or like there's no support, or like whatever. And we're just like, we know, we're getting there, we're gonna get there. So the Shield version and the like Wi-Fi Duino version is also coming out soon. We're working on that. Almost done. Okay, next up. This one is, I was supposed to get it in it last week, but I just didn't. This is the new FLORA sensor pack. Yeah, so this is a pack that's specialized for people who want to start with FLORA and they want to do sensor stuff. So there's a FLORA right there in the middle, and below there's a roll of our really awesome stainless steel thread. To the left of that, there is the accelerometer compass sensor. Above that is the color sensor, and then above that is the light sensor. So you have like a nice range of sensors that you can use. 4 NeoPixels, battery pack, and battery pack extension. Some woven conductive fabric you can use for capacitive touch sensors, and then those nice little mini snaps that we got, which are awesome for making like switches, or if you want to disconnect and connect something from your FLORA. That's also good. Okay, we're about to go on a button journey. Oh yeah? Yeah. Button up. Yeah, so I'm just going to start showing these, I guess. Do you want to just do them by picture? Yeah, you can see what they are. We'll talk about all of them, and then we'll I'll do a demo, because they're all very similar. They're all the same shape. These are really cute little push buttons, and they have an LED built into them. They're really inexpensive compared to our metal push buttons, which is why I like them. So they're like $1 each, which is a good deal. And we have them in red. We also have them in green. They're the LED inside, you can connect it. It's separate than the switch. The switch is either momentary or on-off, and I'll demo that. But basically, the momentary is just like a push button. Like, you push it, and the contacts connect, and when you release, they disconnect. So it's just momentary. We also have, in the same family, it's on-off latching. Yeah. So instead of... that's why these all kind of look the same, but they're different. They're all different. So on the overhead... Actually, I'll leave the lights off because I want to show these buttons lit up. So these are the buttons. Oh, I forgot to plug in my power supply. Just 1 second. Okay. So these are the buttons here. So so you can see how big they are, and you press them, and they don't light up yet. So just give me 1 second. Sure. Somehow I totally forgot to grab my power. Yeah. Oh no, I did grab my power cable. I'm like, I knew I remembered it somewhere. Let's see. Okay, sorry. So, zoom out. Oh, look at that. Okay, so I'm just keeping the LED lit, and a lot of people ask, is the LED connected to the switch? No, the LED is separate. So you can make the LED light up when it's pressed or when it's not pressed, whatever you want to do with different logic. But I'm just keeping it on all the time now so you can sort of also see it. So this is the latching version. So you see it's kind of like pressed in, and then it's released
pressed in, released. So this one is sort of an on-off switch. When you press it, it turns on, and when you press it, it turns off. And then the alternate version is, hold on. This is the momentary version. So the momentary version is when you press it, it's connected, and then when you release it, springs back. So that's why there's 6 different buttons. There's this kind of yellow, which is a lovely yellow. There's also a lovely green. 1 second. Oh, got the polarity wrong. This is a lovely green button. This is the latching one. And finally, if I could not get this backwards every time. It's always backwards, even though it's a 50% chance. Okay, and then of course, red, which never shows up very good on a video camera, but you can see the red color over here. And I like these because they have this nice square skirt, which makes them easy to line up next to each other, and they're easy to press. They're kind of soft and easy to press. Drill a 16mm hole, and I can light this up so you can see that there's this ring that screws on to hold it in place. So you can put it in like a 1/2 inch thick plastic or wood or whatever.
That's handy.
And it's easy to solder to these tabs as well. And yeah, they're just kind of nice basic switches. I'm trying to get blue and white ones as well, but those are custom, so it's taking a little longer than the standard red, yellow, and green. So that's these nice LED buttons.
All right, we're just going to keep moving along here.
Yes. We also have another button.
Yeah, this is the, John Janier was calling this like the NASA button.
Yeah, this is it's like a control panel button. This one's a little bit, it's a little similar, but it's also different. This one, it doesn't have a light up, but it has a nice sort of,
Oops.
Oh,
sorry.
It's okay. It has a, let me see if I can just, yeah. It's not, it's a momentary button, it doesn't have an LED, but it has a really nice rounded top, and I kind of like it. And again, it's really inexpensive. It's only 50 cents. So if you don't need an LED and you just want a couple buttons, it has, again, a nice attachment screw, and it's really easy to connect to these two. And you can even use our quick disconnects if you want. So yeah, this is a pretty sweet little button.
Okay.
And if these are popular, I'll get them in more colors, because these colors they're also available in multiple colors if I order enough. So if they're popular, I'll get them in like gray and white and green and blue and black and all those.
Okay.
But red's a good start.
I'm going to just show all these photos of servos.
Is that what you're going to do?
I'm just going to do that.
That's what you're going to do.
And while you get them ready for the overhead,
Okay.
I'm going to show these beautiful photos. Look at this one. Look at this
Oh,
photo.
you know, we had a metal. We had the metal one that was taken apart.
Yeah, well, it's not going to look as good as this.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the Metal Gear one, just to show the servo with the metal gears. Just because like Metal Gear servos always look good, but they're both the same basic size servo. The Metal Gear one is just a lot more durable. That's a button.
Yeah.
So this is the Metal Gear servo. So it's a micro servo, and this is another custom device. This is got the same standard servo connection that everyone knows and loves, the power, ground, and signal with analog input. You just send it that pulse. But it also has an extra wire, white wire. And the white wire is the feedback wire. And this wire is soldered to the potentiometer wiper on the inside, which is how it does feedback control. And so the nice thing about it is you can read the servo position, which allows you to do things like record servo movements, because when servos are not activated, if you're not sending in a signal, they kind of go loose, and you can move them by hand because they're not activated. So you can use if we have example code, you can turn the servo the way you want and then record that motion because you're reading the feedback from the feedback pin. You can also tell if your servo's binding or something, or if it's you're trying to get to a position, it doesn't get to that position for some reason because there's something in the way. This feedback wire is also handy. So we thought that we already had the large servos, but these would be really good for small robotics projects. And the thing that I like about them is, one thing that's really difficult to do is the reverse kinematics for if you have like an arm or like a robot and you want to have it do a motion, like you want it to like, sign something, like as it's a robot arm and you want it to like draw a picture, programming in that motion can be really, really difficult. But if you have feedback servos, you can just record that and program it in as a waveform. So that's kind of what these are for. It's very interesting. So they're a little more expensive because they have this feedback wire and they're custom. because we had to basically go to Servo factory, and they're like, look, you have to order like 500 of these because it's a weird custom thing. But we think it's worth it. So we have the metal version and the plastic version. The metal gear is a little more expensive, but again, a lot more durable, as most people who work with servos, they know when they need metal gear and when they need plastic.
Okay, next up.
Comes with horns too. All your favorite extras.
Next up, Goldie Blox. We've wanted to put these in the stores for our store for a while, and they came in. So this is, I think, one of the good things that is moving toy makers and educators for toys. And so this one is specifically...
And like the lead character is usually a boy.
Yeah,
or,
and so this is Goldie Blox. And you actually spoke at the same conference, the Woman 2.0 conference, as them. And they're now in Toys R Us. They're in lots of places. And this is Goldie Blox and the spinning machine.
Yeah, so this one, it's kind of a book activity. And this particular one teaches how to do like very, very basic robotics. It's meant for like 6-year-old plus, so it's not, it's also fairly inexpensive. So it's not like it has like motors and stuff in it, but it sort of teaches about, belt drive and how to connect multiple things to a belt drive, which also sort of teaches about gearing and how to connect multiple mechanical things together using a belt drive system. So it's interesting because it sort of presents this as it's problem solving, and it has a story that goes with it, which I think is really nice. Yeah. And it does teach you something, but it's not like it's a robot kit.
Yeah. So it got the Oppenheimer Toy Portfolio Best Toy Award, Parents' Choice Gold Award. The side of the box, more than just a princess. Kind of interesting. There's the girl, and she has the...
It's also not, you don't have to give it just to girls. You can give it to anybody.
Girls or boys.
Just like you can give a toy with that has a boy character to a girl or boy.
Yeah.
This is fine for everybody. But I like that they were like, let's try something different.
Yeah, and so when people ask us like, oh, what's going on in the world of STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, to get more young girls celebrated and interested in it, these are some of the things. And this is good for boys and girls. And I like that the main character is a girl engineer.
Yeah.
Because in my worldview, I only know girl engineers. I didn't realize guys do engineering too. This is a rumor I've heard recently.
Mangineers.
Mangineers are called. Okay.
Okay.
Next up.
More products.
Yeah, this was a really cool product that you made. I like this.
Yes, I made this in a fit of frustration because I was really tired. I was like, how come I've been programming AVRs for like 10 years or more? And I still can never remember the pinout, and then I'm always like shoving wires into like my ISP headers, and I was like, this sucks. I'm gonna make a little thing, and it's gonna have the pinout, and it's gonna be like really easy to use, and it's gonna be $1, and here it is. And then it happened. So it's a little mini kit. You get a circuit board and some header, and it's really, really easy to solder. This is like, it just, for, to get it assembled, would have made it more than $1, and I really wanted it to be something that you could just like pick up, next time you place an order. But you basically make a little assistant where you can plug in, your USB teeny or whatever into here. And what I like is that it keeps the same pinout. So, if you do remember the pinout, unlike me, VCC mostly ground, reset S clock, MISO. And you can also follow other diagrams out there. It's just really easy to use, and it's a great. I have like 3 now plugged into every breadboard because if I'm programming like a AT-Tiny 85, it's just a really easy, elegant way to do it. And then I can use this for any AVR chip, any chip that uses the 6-pin ISP header.
Okay, home stretch
so handy. Works great with USB Teeny.
All right.
Hi.
Next up, I'm going to show the photos and while you set it up. This is a clear top Altoids tin.
Big tin.
Bigger than usual tin. Here's a Pi inside of it. Here's a Arduino on its side. It's big.
These are huge.
And then you've got a Mega in there.
It fits the Mega very well.
Yeah, and here's some great photos. Customers suggested this. They're like, this is totally an Adafruit.
Yeah, and I was like, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So here is this tin. I'm gonna get this. So it's got a clear top. It's basically like one of those mint tins or candy tins where you can see the contents. So big tin, and the Arduino is just like gigantic. Even Arduino would kind of barely fit. I don't even think it fits in a normal Altoids tin. whereas you can now fit, a Raspberry Pi or something, and then you can even close it. One thing I do want to just, remind people is it's made out of metal. So if you're going to put something in it, make sure to insulate it or use screws. Like, there's these nice mounting holes here or mounting holes. So just use those because it's metal. It's extremely conductive. You can also put a magnet in it. And I like that you could put this on and put a TFT shield in and then close it and you could see what's going on in your shield. And then, I think this is a waterproof. It's mostly waterproof, but the box itself isn't, but the top would kind of handle a little bit of abuse. So you could probably, spill something on it or put it in your bag and it would survive.
Yeah. I like that you could also put magnets on it and have it on a refrigerator. So you could do like Internet of Things fridge device.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You could it's magnetic, so you could put it, I don't have a magnet here, but yeah, you could magnetize it, glue magnets to the back. Yeah. And the back is just a solid tin. And then, of course, you can drill holes into it or punch holes into it, or you could just have a display. So yeah, I think this is kind of I actually use tin snips to just cut little slots and stuff, but you can use a step drill as well. So it's a really big tin.
Okay. Next up, I'm going to show the photos of these. Here is, these are tiny cables that can fit in your wallet. This is the easiest. They're called charge cards. And we
this
saw
was a
these.
Kickstarter.
Yeah, it was a very successful Kickstarter. And I tried them out and I'm like, wow, these are really handy because I always need either an iPhone cable, a USB cable, an iPod cable. And so these fit right into your wallet. And what it is just a tiny foldable cable to charge and do data syncing with your devices. So each one of them plugs into a computer, USB, and you can always keep this with you. Handy for travelers, handy for everyone, cool for makers who just need to plug in stuff all the time. And
yeah, it's cool just because it's so skinny. So this is the card. It's a little tough to see because it's all black. But this little part snaps out, and you can see that there's these gold USB contacts. This is the thickness of the USB slot. So you can plug this in. And then over here, this is a 30-pin iPhone 4 connector. There's also this one, which is kind of neat. It's a micro B connector. You can kind of see this micro B connector here. Same USB, and it flexes open. And then this is an iPhone 5 connector, so you can maybe see it. It's also a fairly skinny connector. So it's micro USB, which is basically like every Android phone, iPhone 5, and also latest iPads and such, and also 30-pin for you old school Apple device owners. No FireWire one. So I don't know. You got your own your first generation iPod. You're out of luck. But
yep, a lot of focus there.
Sorry about that. There you go. So yeah, these are the cards, and they're very slim. So yeah, they're meant to fit. They're thicker than a credit card because they have to be as thick as that USB connector. But they're still fairly thin. Maybe only 2-3 millimeters. Yeah. Definitely fits into a wallet.
Okay.
Or purse.
Next up, if you are someone who likes electronics and engineering, there is a set of cards for you finally. These are from Arachnid Labs. We saw these. We got a sample set, and we're like, okay, finally.
These are handy.
Super handy, super cool. Let me go to the overhead.
Okay. So, yeah, let's look at some of these cards. So, hopefully in focus. So, yes, this is NPN current source. So, there's a schematic, there's the name, and then there's a little bit of text that tells you about it. Any, mathematics. FET high side switch, voltage divider. This is the two of hearts. Differential amplifier, current regulator, NPN switch. So, all of these great things. SR latch. It's got some little analog, a little bit of digital. It's got the differentiator that nobody likes, or integrator that nobody likes. Whatever. They don't really work. So the differentiator, does that one work? Which one's the one that's doesn't DC bias well? I don't remember. Maybe it's the integrator. The linear regulator, basic boost regulator, and talks a little bit about the theory, memory logic, flyback diode connections, RC high pass, Schmidt trigger, Shunt regulator using a zener. Everyone loves zeners.
Yeah.
Voltage doubler, RC low pass, etc., etc., etc. Crowbars, emitters, non-inverting. Common base, common emitter, common. 32 cards in total. We thought these were cool. These are also really good if you just want to brush up on your circuit recognition skills, because it's like kind of covers. It's not like every single basic circuit element, but it has a lot of them. So I like this. I like the sound. It's like, this is cool.
Okay, and with that, Lady Ada, that was new products.
Yeah, there's a lot of new products.